Okay, Bob, I see you not yet. Sign in, will you?
Are you expecting him?
Yeah. Oh, there's Bob. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Good. Hey. Yeah. Okay. Hey, we're going to turn you around so you can be on the. Wait a minute. I got to make you the host first. Let's see. Let's see. Rename, spot, remove, put on hold.
Exactly.
I gotta find the right button here. Oh, here he goes. Okay, make host. Now, okay, do you want to change the host to Robert Austin? Certainly, yes. Okay, you should have control there, Bob. I'm going to turn the computer around so you can see the gang here.
1, 2. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Bob.
We have a talking head tonight.
Mike's here.
Hi, Sam. Doug.
We like it here. We like it here. Oh.
That's great.
That's good. I'll sit back. Okay.
So Jamie and Dave are not going to be here this evening, but thank you for the rest of you because now we have a quorum.
Yep.
Looking at your clock and it says it's 6 o'clock.
Right.
So we might as well get this thing going. The only people missing are Jamie and Dave. So we now know what the roll call is. It doesn't look like there are any citizens there to petition. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, then we will move to approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Is everybody,
Yeah, you probably don't have those, Bob, because they just came out.
I was just going to say, has anybody seen them?
I'm looking at them right now because they were just handed out about 5 minutes ago.
So,
There seems to be maybe 1 or 2 mistakes on it, so I'll move to waive a reading of the minutes until next meeting.
I believe that would be a sensible thing to do, seeing as how everyone hasn't seen them yet.
That's my fault, Bob. I own that mistake.
We need a second.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to waive the reading of the minutes until everyone's had a chance to see them and digest them. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we'll say that that one was unanimous. All right. We can move on to communications and reports. Does anybody from the committee have anything to report?
No.
Crickets.
yeah, they're all looking at each other, so I guess not.
Very good. Well, aside from the article that appeared in the Day this week, I have not had any phone calls from anybody about the any problems or anything at the school, so it appears that the first week of school went fairly quietly. Should be a really wonderful thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Sam's shaking his head over there, so I don't know how quietly it went, but it went. So, you know, we didn't hear
Sam.
it. We have a few issues we need to deal with the principal and some other things that are being sort of discovered after the fact. So we can talk about those probably at the next meeting after I get some more information on them.
All right, it seems reasonable. Okay, so with nothing from members, we'll move to consultants.
None of them here this week. We are potentially looking at inviting Perkins Eastman next meeting to talk about the materials and the look of materials and the color selection and that kind of stuff. So we're meeting with them, staff, next week, and then the week after we'll bring them to the committee.
Okay, very good. So let's move to staff and program.
I can report we took some members of the Board of Ed, some members of the City Council, Juliet Parker was there from the town council. The mayor of the city was there. We ended up with about 12 folks. One lady had worked, I guess, in the main office or whatever years ago. She must have been 85 of the day, and she was really enjoying the walkthrough.
Not Wilcox.
No, it wasn't Wilcox. That went reasonably well. There was really no out of sort questions, at least in my tour. I don't know if Sam had anything that came up during his or whatever. We actually were able to open one of the doors and let them get into the gymnasium and see the new flooring material had arrived, so it's being conditioned right now. So that tour, I think, went very well, and everybody seemed to be impressed with the building. So we got Tammy here, so I'll let Tammy talk about the details of what's going on over at the building, and then we can have Kelly do the same for the elementary schools. Take it away, Tammy.
All right, very good. Good evening, everyone. So we'll start out with the site work that's going on. So we're working on finishing up the softball field and also the multi-purpose field. And we should be completed with that portion and all the site work by October, the end of October. Building-wise, we are continuing working on punch list items between FF&E, roof management, construction items. We are also working on starting the grading for the handicap driveway. So that's gonna start next week. As Rick mentioned, we did receive the material for the new gym floor. It is acclimating. They're going to start installing it. And then we're looking to start the full floor sanding by the end of the day on next Tuesday. So we're going to continue working on that. And then we also have the small performance area. The work is continuing. We're still on schedule to be completed by September 28th with all the theatrical lighting and integrating in with the cafeteria lighting as well. What else? Update you guys on for the middle school.
Yeah, what I'll let you know too is we did get the another conditional CO that's been extended for 60 days. That would give us time to complete all the work, have all the final inspections done, get the punch list work done, and basically be completed. So that's ongoing. I think we discussed earlier, the principal wanted to push off the striping or any additional striping to the field, sewn in stuff until the gym was available. So that, if we continue with that, at least won't be done until October sometime. So we'll have to keep it cut in on that stuff. Other than that, I think we're looking at, Tammy's getting some help to do some paperwork, and we're looking at trying to get into some of the completion paperwork and start getting the change orders that are remaining wrapped up and any of the other paperwork. Finishing, the manuals for O&M manuals, those are, if not done, they're on their way, and we'll get them to Sam, and we'll keep a copy here at Public Works also. Keys, I guess, Sam has all the keys. The principal gave me a key, so I got to give that back to him. So for the tour, unfortunately didn't open the good places, but walk through the building if you have a chance, Bob and the rest of the committee, if you have a chance at some point, some late afternoon or on a Wednesday when they're cleaning. The building looks tremendous. The teachers have really taken it as their own, and it's decorated. It looks like they've been in the building for a while, even though they've probably only had 2 days of classes in there. I guess today would have been the 3rd day of class in the building. So it's really looking pretty nice.
I would not need to be wearing long pants.
Nope, you do not. You can
No.
wear whatever you like. So,
Except the skirt.
yes.
Skirt is acceptable.
Yeah, skirt's good.
That blows on.
It's not your birthday soon. It's not your birthday soon, right?
Yeah.
So-
Within reason.
So if anybody has any questions for me and Tammy, we'd be happy to entertain them.
Two,
Two, okay?
you said completion the 28th. Why a Monday? Instead of, let's say, that Saturday being the 26th.
Because of the fact that they still are working on Saturdays, so it should be ready by Monday.
The next, okay, the next.
Yes.
week.
Yep.
That it. And there's no hassle using that field, even though we have to work on it.
No, in fact, they were
They're
playing,
using it, I know.
yeah, they were playing on it on the way over,
I
so,
know.
so there's no problem using the field. We don't know, I don't know, Sam, if you know whether they're doing field hockey or not, or if you're still proceeding with the painting.
We painted the field,
Oh, cool.
field hockey. I went there on Tuesday afternoon to greet the field hockey team,
Yep.
their teams, blocks on the field.
Yeah.
And approximately 50 girls ran all over that field and were truly excited.
Oh,
Yep,
good.
They were on it yesterday. I sent
And they
Laura
were-
and Sam, I'm like, look, your field's being used.
They were kind of doing wind sprints today, not the kind I remember, but they were running back and forth across the field, so. Just a little while ago.
Yeah, they look very excited.
Well, I can tell you I have an eighth grader who went today. He could not wait to get home to talk about that.
Yeah,
He's beyond
that's good.
excited.
Okay.
And he said those Prometheus boards, he was telling me, they're enormous.
They
So
are very enormous.
he said, tell her I said, they're enormous. You know, okay.
Well, there's a couple in it, so Tammy can talk about that, but there were some issues with the Promethean boards and some cabling issues that they're dealing with. I mean, there's workarounds, so they can be used and connected to the computers, but we're looking at the wiring on them. It may have to have the right kind of connector, and it looks like in this case, copper actually works better than fiber in in those wires. So there's a few of those electronic issues that are hanging out there, and a lock issue we're working with the Board of Ed on, also with Sam's people. So there's a few of those cleanup things, if you will, that you'll see at the end of any building project.
For a long time. hassle.
What?
Is that a quick fix or a hassle?
Well, it's waiting for cables. They're actually determining what the best fix
Yeah,
is.
we're working on what the best long-term solution is. So there's two types of solutions that we do, and I want the manufacturer to tell me what long-term best solution is.
But it's easy to put new wires and install it.
If we need,
Move the conduit again.
yeah,
I don't know how hard that would be.
if we need to do that, yeah, we'll pull the old wires out and we'll pull the new wires in.
And right now, they can plug your computers directly into the boards if they need to.
Yeah,
Or
there's
put
no
a
tag.
little pigtail because somebody's worried about wearing out the connectors.
Yeah.
So there's workaround options to some of these things. So I don't have anything else.
I
unless
did
there's
have a
some-
question. So what is being side going the both fields?
It's the side's going in on the softball field and the
And multi-purpose.
Okay.
I wasn't sure, 'cause I kept waiting and see green out there, and then I thought I saw a shimmering of green on
Yeah, on
the,
the
on the big field.
big field. I thought I did too,
But now
or some
round.
stripes. Well, there's
That's
there.
all, which is fine, so I thought, I didn't know.
I think they should be planning within a week or so is what they were planning on doing, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then we'll still have to wait and see if it's viable in the spring to plant.
That's the goal, is to have it, depending on how it grows. how it grows.
Okay, anything else,
No
guys?
glass.
No glass.
I do have a question. Rick, can you update us on the alternative driveway?
Oh, yeah, that's, we're looking at the final plans for the site plan modification. I had to go back and forth with the architect a couple times, so that's in final prep to be submitted. We've, I've directed Tammy to tell O&G to start the initial grading over there, which isn't an issue because they got to clean the area. They got to start the initial grading, as you said earlier. And then we should have approval within a week or two to continue on and do the paving and the rest of the stuff, pending comments from the planning folks.
So we've gotten an actual estimate at this point?
Yes, we do. It was, I thought I reported at the last meeting, but it was 208,000 plus a light work, so it's around 220, 230,000. Yeah.
So I did receive the PCO today, and I was reviewing it, so it is still the 208,000, but 100 and, I believe 152,000 will be coming out of the site allowance. So we will end up paying about 58,000 for the PCO.
So that would be out of the owner's contingency. I do have a printout of the allowances, and there's only one allowance that has been expended because one was for the sewer, one was for other field work, and there was a steel allowance, I think. And then there was a $45,000 allowance for, I can't remember what it was. That's the only one that hasn't really been spent. So, we did contain the work within the GMP, if you will, without dipping into our contingency, except for that 58K.
Very good. Anyone else have any other questions? Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome.
Kelly, you're up.
All right, I'll start with Cutler. So Cutler, we have steel continuing, so in Area C, the 3-level classroom wing in Area C is still complete. We're going to do decking there, welding, some banging for all the NEC hangers to be secured by NEC rough screwed up through the slab. We'll be pouring our first slab on the second floor next week. And then steel is being erected in Area B right now, and then from B we go to A. So we'll be moving to Area A next week. And then after that, I'd say 2-3 weeks of steel, and we're done with steel. Site work is continuing. We are grading the front driveway or grading the sidewalks. We'll begin the water line next week. Demolition, abatement is complete at the existing middle school. Demolition is about, I'd say 50% complete. They tore half it down very fast, and they're hauling out materials. And they'll continue demolition probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Then NEP rough-ins are continuing all throughout the site and building the water line. And the mason is continuing. We have most of the shear walls up in Area B. They're going into Area A. And then stair 2 is complete for masonry, and stair 1 is underway. We have our beam sign out here at the annex in the front. So if anyone wants to sign it tonight, that would be great if we could take a photo. I'd like to post something on our Facebook page. So that beam will be installed or picked up, I believe, next Tuesday, and hopefully installed on the 25th. I'm not exactly sure. I'm waiting for confirmation on that, but probably try the 25th. But we'll figure that out and coordinate that with Dr. Grenier.
So I have talked with Dr. Grenier on that. You know, obviously he'd like to do a big thing, but we can't with the COVID thing because there are some restrictions by the contractor too with folks on site. So we'll at least have a good video and try and do a little virtual thing so they can post it on the educational channel or even maybe even the town website. So we'll still working out the details of that thing.
Any questions on Cutler? All right. So left side, we have site work continuing. They're kind of waiting for site work. Site work are waiting for the building to get demoed. You know, we have that huge grade, so they need to take, part of that land out where the building is to get that final grade in the area. So they're working throughout the site doing utilities. They start some test pits on Brady Ave either tomorrow or Monday. Steel erection is about 50% in Area C. We have the remaining of Area C delivery on Monday, and they should probably finish up Area C, which is the 3-story wing again, probably end of next week, if not, a little later in the week after. And then they're going to move over to Area A and then B, a little different than Cutler. Decking has begun in the beginning part of Area C. Welding ongoing, plumbing ongoing. And then we are done with foundation walls. So Mason is running through around all of Area A and B, putting his masonry walls up. Shear walls are ongoing, cafeteria walls are being installed. MVP rough-ins are ongoing, under slab rough-ins, we're almost done, we're probably about 70% done with our inspections for underground slab. Our slabs will be poured next Friday. They're gonna do area A and B at the same time. So we'll bang that out quickly and then we'll start area A and B steel after that. And besides that, demolition is probably about, biggest all done, demolition's 70% complete.
Yeah, probably.
Moving along. They're gonna work Saturdays over there doing some demo. And then as soon as possible.
Story, removal of the tree in the time capsule, any word?
I don't know what the time capsule, but we haven't done any excavations in that area yet, so we haven't seen anything. But the tree, we have received informal proposals, which we kind of threw away, so we're waiting on revised pricing on those trees. As of right now, they're fine where they are. We're staying from the drip line in that area, and demoed away from the trees. But yeah, we're still waiting on pricing.
Bob, wasn't that time capsule put into the courtyard in the middle or the one in the front? Do you remember? I guess you don't hear?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I was trying to unmute. The time capsule that I was aware of was in the center courtyard.
Is that the one Talbot had buried, or you talking about a one earlier?
I think it might have been earlier.
So there might be two on location. I
think it was one that Bob Strauss buried.
Oh, then there's two on location.
Maybe.
Well, I wasn't aware of either of them, so and Sam's shaking his head over here, so if there's something there.
I remember some of the items that went into one, because I was there.
Right. Oh, that was what, 1902?
No. I was still in New York back then.
Oh, okay. Watching the Yankees in their short pants, whatever, right?
They weren't the Yankees, they were the Highlanders.
Ah, okay. So, I mean, if that's something we need to save or something, we're gonna have to figure out where they are, because, you know, I don't know that any of us are aware of where those things were. It's the first really I've heard of them, so.
Do you know what the containers look like?
They're made out of.
Do you know what it looks like? Because I mean, if it's plastic versus.
I don't know what they did, I just know what things were, I was in Mike's office at the time when we were doing it, and we were putting some things in there. I wasn't there when they buried it and everything else.
Yeah, there used to be a sundial in the southeast corner of that inner courtyard, and I think it was below, it buried underneath the sundial.
Under the sundial?
One of them.
Well, the sundial was at Cutler.
There was one at West Side as well.
Okay.
Now we got there, I don't think.
Yeah, I only saw one at Cutler, West Side is gone, so we don't know what that was.
Like I said, this was long ago and far away, and very few people will remember it, and no one will miss it.
Okay. Well, if we come across something, we'll keep our eyes open. How's that?
We'll slowly watch. We'll slowly watch.
I mean,
We're a ways away. Let's get on the whole entire building slab, and then we'll start our.
So I think I informed you earlier, Bob, that we were having some potential schedule issues with the contractor there on West Side. So to let the committee know what's going on with that. We're looking at that. We may need to spend a few dollars up front on some, not all, but some of the work, types of work, to make sure they meet the end date. So we'll let you know as that unfolds and go from there and keep you guys appraised of that.
When is the drop dead period for making that decision?
Well, for us, right now, we're waiting for a cost estimate on what that work may be.
Some of the trades are working on their own risk right now.
Yep.
They're on their own
Yep.
time, accelerating their hours and working Saturdays. So we already started, but on our end and our exposure, we're still vetting it out and waiting on a number from the contractor.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, I mean, we did Arcadis, we brought in our schedulers and did a full sort of schedule analysis, sort of at a very granular level. So we've been in constant conversation with ONG, sort of forcing that narrative of how do we get to the date? These things don't make sense. There's some open-ended items and the like. But we've come a long way, and I think we're in far better shape than we were before when we were just having them just deliver the schedule. We sort of increased not only the frequency of review, but the sort of detail of the review. So we've been able to go back and really nail that down with them. And we've got a revised schedule for West Side, which we're still going through, but we're doing much better than we were previously with making sure that end date is met.
Yeah, it actually got everyone thinking about what to do in the future, like with the materials being used. Some change materials sometimes your task will shorten. So we're thinking it in the future about how to save time. So as of right now, we're in good shape.
So we are having a scheduled meeting next week. So once that's completed and we're comfortable with it, we can provide that to you folks to take a look at.
Okay. Bear with me.
So I would just implore you to keep the lines of communication open and continue to maximize that so that we can really work that schedule hard.
Right. And we are, and the Arcadis folks have enlisted much more of their resources to do that and make sure we understand where they're going. And we have really been stressing to our friends at ONG that there's things that need to be done and we need to work better, smarter. So that all those things are in process right now.
Just from my
Okay, and if there are any ongoing issues, please let me know.
Okay. And right now, the delivery date is not affected. So it's more of what do we do to make sure that's not affected. So we'll get that to you as soon as we can.
Exactly.
point is, I'm not looking for analysis being that everybody is in a school. What would be best if for some reason we couldn't meet that date, depending on monies to be spent extra compared to just bringing out the date.
Where?
I'm not saying to do, I'm just asking.
Well, we're not ready to go there yet. I mean, the money we're talking about, we have like 2.4 million in contingency. We haven't dipped into it at all yet. If we do, we'll have to have that discussion, but it's not of that magnitude at this point. So,
I know,
we're talking about a few.
If it ends up
Yeah.
being 6 months, 7 months.
Oh,
No
no
way.
way.
It's
You'll
never gonna happen.
you'll know about that long before.
I'll explain to you why we're doing what we're doing right now, right?
Let's everybody let Rick finish.
Okay, well, and as I was saying, we're not to that position where it's that magnitude. We're talking about several 6-hour work days by a few of the trades just to get a jump on some of the things. So Brian has some additional information. I'll let him explain that to you. Sometimes I jump ahead a little faster and he does a better job of filling in the blanks. So let Brian tell you what's been going on with that.
Thanks, Rick. I feel like that's the hot seat I just got. Sort of what I'm paid to be here for, right? So the idea behind this push of really mobilizing 4 trades ahead of the rest of everybody else and sort of compressing some of their time frame is because the times work in the schedule. That's not the problem. The problem is that this is New England, and in the wintertime, you get weather. And there are weather events that happen that you can't do things at times, whether it's swing iron or whatever it may be. Our current schedule doesn't have a lot of float in there for any of that, right? So short dollars spent up front, you know, it's order of magnitude of, you know, if we were talking percentage, we're talking quarter to a percent, you know, or less, you know, it's super small amount of dollars. We don't have the actual numbers yet, right? But let's say that it's, you know, a super small amount of money to make sure you have 10, 12 days of sort of flow in the schedule. By doing that now avoids the doomsday scenario that you sort of talked about, which is you lose time, and then you get to the end and you're like, oh boy, now we're in real trouble. The only thing we can do is push off school. So by doing this now and spending some short dollars up front, we're getting the trades so the building can be enclosed by the time the winter time comes so that the people working inside, and we can meet all the regulations. You know, we can't pull wire within a building unless we have a roof and we're weather tight. We can't insulate ductwork and piping unless we have a roof and we're weather tight. So by doing this small compression right now, it'll build us a little bit of float. So if we do have a wicked ice storm or a snowstorm or whatever it may be, as long as we have a roof, and even if they're just plastic windows and let's say the real windows aren't here, fine. But we're working inside in a controlled environment where we can control everything that's going on, and we're not losing time because we have water pouring in and the guys can't pull electrical work. That's really the modus of all this. It's just sort of pushing this forward, us recognizing where the schedule is, not seeing a lot of activities in float, and looking at a roof installation of December or whatever and saying, ooh, is that where we really want to be? And that's not a specific date or whatever. I don't have the actual schedule in front of me, but that's the methodology behind doing this.
So one trade is, well, just because you have no idea what you're talking about. So getting the roof on.
Yep.
And a time like that is one of the things you're
So, yeah, so we gotta get the steel in place, you gotta pour the slabs, you gotta do the steel studding, then you gotta do the outside covering, and then if there's masonry, that's gotta be done. So those trades that are available that we can work earlier to close in the building for a little bit longer at the beginning. As Brian said, it's smart money to spend a little bit of that up front, so we do have some flexibility at the end.
Okay.
So we're not chasing the end like we were chasing across the street.
Who got a general idea what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I know that now.
Yeah, so I apologize, but that's the general idea, to make sure that the building's closed before it snows, right? That's to the best of our ability. Whether it works perfectly or not, we'll see. You know, construction is a fickle animal at times, but we know right now that if we do nothing, that the potential for a problem is much greater. That's the moment.
And New England weather is not fickle at all.
No, of course not. No, it's not fickle.
Just Connecticut, not New England. Okay.
And besides that, the fee for the signage.
For West Side.
For West Side, and then
That's gonna
Optimism, Rick. Optimism. You gotta have optimism.
be a town hall also, that thing?
Yeah, well, it's right out here.
Yeah, we're right out front.
I haven't used enough.
Okay. So we have nothing really more. We do have a plan approval that we need for Cutler for the site plan modification, plus a couple other things that were on the planning document that will be put on drawings and submitted to planning for approval. It's actually the rooftop screening that we had talked about at one time. There was some additional screening at Cutler that they wanted down by the driveway into the service area. So those things will all be added and that closed out. Other than that, there's not much else to report on.
Does anyone have any questions for Kelly for either Cutler or West Side?
Well,
I'm not hearing anything, so I'm assuming that means no.
Yep.
Do we have any unfinished business?
No, no, we had nothing listed to carry forward. I mean, we do, if we have anything, or new, I'll let you know for the next meeting here.
Very good. And we have no new business, do we?
No, no, as I said, under new business at the next meeting, we'll probably bring in Perkins Eastman with their presentation on the final finishes and stuff for the building. So we'll discuss that in between times and see what they have. Make sure they're ready to do that so we can
Very good.
hard time.
All right. Does anybody have any last words? Otherwise, thank you all for your time, and I will call this adjourned.
Thank you.
We will see you in 2 weeks.
We have markers out there, Rick? Other markers out there?
There were. No, stranger things have been known to happen.
You have no idea.
They write it and they walk away with markers.
Thank you, Bob. I think we're officially adjourned.
Did I hear that Jamie's going to be the new principal?
That's what I heard, and I haven't seen anything in writing. Nobody sent me anything, so
Which one?
West Side is what I heard.
At West Side Elementary?
Yeah, well, whatever the name of the school is, whatever it's named.
Steve, so Mark Russell is our photographer.
Okay, I'm terminating you here.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
You too, Bob.
Thank you.